ಅವನ್ನ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಅವನ್ನ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಶುರು ನಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಹೇಳೋರ್ಗೆ, ನೀನೇ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋರ್ಗೆ. ಮುಂದೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ.
ಸರ್
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂರಜ್ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ.
ಅದಕ್ಕಾ? ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಫಿ
ಕೈ ತೆಗಿಯ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ.
We are all ready to go ಅಂತ ಒಂದು.
ಸೂರಜ್
ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Hello, Kusuma.
wait. Don't. Hi, Vani. How are you?
Good. How are you? I forgot to bring the balloons. I'll bring later.
No. He got it. Yeah. Can everybody unmute themselves?
Yeah, sure. आंटी भाजी कैसे अनम्यूट करेंगे?
So, Suraj, when I have the
Suraj, you can control all them, huh? Suraj, you can control all everyone to mute, right?
No. Because I am having the computer. Yeah, I can do that.
She's the host.
So you have muted me also. No, I can do that.
You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, you are the co-host. PPT. I have the PPT, right? And then I want to use her computer for a demonstration.
That's fine. You both can share the screen now, because you're host and co-host.
So you come here and do the. But how does the people know which one I can close this? They don't have to know anything.
They don't have to know anything. As long as they're going to be seeing you.
Okay.
So ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
For them, they will see only these two halves.
No, they will only see whoever is talking about.
Okay.
So right now, it says Kashi, right? The yellow box is.
Okay.
You are the big screen.
I see.
ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ.
How did you do that?
Right here, you go view.
Okay.
You go to speaker. So you are speaking.
Okay.
Or we can do the full screen where you can.
I see. Yeah, I prefer that during one small demonstration.
But ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ.
Yeah. Now get me back. Yeah, I think this is better.
This is better for you?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can actually arrange this. I will put it in the top.
Me, I have to come here, not him.
ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ನಾವು ಹೋದಂಗೆ.
No. She will be the speaker initially. I am the speaker initially, no? Change him.
Okay, you're the speaker, right?
Yeah.
Let him mute himself.
Mute. When your turn comes. Yeah. Yeah, when I'm using the headset, I'm going to put this. Why? Yeah, I
Can you mute yourself?
Yeah, I'm muted.
No, you're not.
You use the headphones.
You are listening.
Okay, then get me a headset.
What do you need?
No, why is it? Why?
Yeah, now it should be working.
Hello? Can you hear me, Vani? Yeah? Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, good.
That's it. Look, just have to.
Hello, Kusuma.
Hello.
ಗಾಯತ್ರಿ
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಸೂರಜ್ ಪಕ್ಕ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಸ್ಕ್ಸ್.
ಒಳ್ಳೇದು.
Once he moves 6 feet away, I'll take out the mask.
Okay, okay. No problem.
ಯಾರು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ನಂದೇ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಇರ್ರಿ ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ.
ಅದ್ ಬೇಕು ಕಣೋ ನಂಗೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಅದು. ಬೇಡ ಬೇಡ ಬೇಡ, ಅದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ಲಿ. ಗಾಯತ್ರಿ, ನೀವು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ? ರಾಹುಲ್, ನೀ ತೆಗಿಬೇಡ, ನಾನ್ ತೆಗಿತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. Welcome everyone. We'll just give 5 more minutes so that let everybody join up. We'll wait for 5 more minutes. Okay, till everybody joins. I think slowly they're joining. Those who are joining now, I'll just give another 2 minutes and then I'll start. So if anybody else is joining, so that they won't miss from the beginning.
Kusma, where is Nagesh? Your own student is missing.
Now everybody mute themselves, so I'll unmute myself. Around 5:05 I will start. Good evening, everyone. Many of you know me. My name is Kusuma Prasanna. I'm going to share a screen with you guys now, and then I'll start today's workshop. Uh, I have collaborated with few community doctors, and we have planned a series of workshop called as Yoga and Modern Medicine. One second, hold on. I'll put it for the slide. Why? This one? Yeah. Okay. So as many of you know, I am a licensed registered yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance. I have done my yoga instructor course from Yesvyasa from Jigni, Bangalore. I have also done my RYT 200-hour teacher training program from Glenmore Yoga and Wellness Center here in Richmond. I am also actively participating in the RYT 300 teacher training program from Glenmore Yoga and Wellness Center. And I have been practicing yoga for a few years. The goal of the workshop is to understand the ancient Indian practice of yoga and its philosophy in the background of modern medicine. Yoga originated in India. What the modern medicine is saying about the human body, its physiology, its ailments, cure, our yogis thousands of years ago had the knowledge and gave us the practice of yoga as the way to improve our health and prevent diseases to both the body and the mind. To achieve this goal, we are conducting few workshops with medical doctors from different specialities. So today's workshop is going to be a brief history of yoga, pranayama, and respiratory system with the help of Dr. Nagesha Kashinath, the renowned anesthesiologist. Next month in February, we are going to have Yogasana, Surya Namaskar, Pranayam, and cardiovascular system with Dr. Shashi Prabhakar, the renowned cardiologist. So henceforth, we are trying to do topics on different systems of the body with different renowned specialists. I hope you will join for the future ones too. Today's workshop is yoga and respiratory system. So the class or the session is divided into 6 parts. So I'm going to do an introduction of yoga philosophy. I'm going to do this only for this session because I thought yoga originated in India and all of us should know a little background of yoga, what's the meaning of yoga, and what are the historical scriptures and ancient scriptures that tell us what yoga means. So this will be done only for this session. From next session onwards, we'll directly jump into the uh, the systems that we will be talking for that workshop. So after I do the yoga philosophy, then Dr. Nagesha Kashinath will do the anatomy and physiology of respiratory system. I'll practically show few yoga asanas or poses which help to open up the rib cage, and you'll be able to take in maximum amount of air for breathing. And then we'll have introduction to pranayama and practically do through pranayama practices, and we'll have a question and answer session.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
So,
ಕುಸುಮಾ ಅವರೇ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಪವಿ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸಾರಿ, ನಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಯ್ತು ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ.
go ahead, Pavi.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ. ಆಗ್ಲೇ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು. ಅಂಡ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇವರು ಕುಸುಮಾ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಅವರು ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಅಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್. Thank you so much, and I'll give the platform back to you. You can continue.
Oh, thank you, Pavi. as she said, if you are having any doubts when we are giving this session, please note it down, and you can ask us in the question and answer session. So today's this thing in your introduction to yoga philosophy, let's first know what is yoga and what is not yoga. What are the types of yoga? Meaning of yoga in the ancient scriptures like Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Patanjali Sutras, and a type of yoga called as Raja Yoga, which is also called as Ashtanga Yoga, and the benefits of yoga. So first, let's see what's not yoga. Yoga is not a mere physical exercise. It's not a naturopathy practice. It's just merely not a naturopathy practice. It's much more than that. It's definitely not easy chair philosophy, which is obtained by reading books and watching YouTube videos. And it is not a religion. People belonging to any religion can practice yoga. And definitely, it's not the commercial marketing that is going on in this era, like beer yoga and goat yoga, etc. And what is yoga? Yoga comes from the verbal root yuj in Sanskrit, which means joining. It is the joining of the individual self with the universal self. The universal self can mean different for different people. For some, it is the God. For some, it is nature. For some, environment. For some, science. So it can be different for different people. There are many kinds of yoga, but they are basically classified into 4 major types. That is Gnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Raja Yoga. And you have other kinds of yoga like Japa Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, etc. But these are the 4 major types. The meaning of yoga, as mentioned in our ancient scriptures, we will look into the meaning of yoga as mentioned in the ancient scriptures, the Vedas and Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Patanjali Sutras. So Vedas and Upanishads, we have 4 Vedas, the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvana Veda. And each Veda has 4 parts, the mantra, the Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishads. So mantra is the hymns, the Brahmana is the mantras and the rituals, Aranyaka is the explanation of these rituals, and Upanishads, that is the essence or the knowledge portion of the Vedas. This is the most important part of the Veda. And this Upanishads used to be usually given by the guru to his shishya by making him sit near him and impart this knowledge. And the guru would give this to the shishya only at the time when the shishya was ready to accept this knowledge. Because this is a very powerful tool, and the guru did not want to give it to people who were not ready to receive that knowledge. So he used to assess, and then only for few of his students, he used to impart this knowledge of Upanishads. There are many Upanishads, and the 10 major ones are Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, Aitreya, Taitreya, Isha, Kena, Kata, Prashna, Munduka, and Mandukya Upanishad. And throughout these Upanishads, the yoga has been sprinkled in almost all of these Upanishads. But the Taittiriya Upanishad from Yajurveda, yoga is explained very much in detail. According to this Taittiriya Upanishad, it says that human being has 5 koshas. Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha. So Annamaya kosha is basically your physical body. Pranamaya kosha is your energy body, or the prana, or the breath. Manomaya kosha is the emotional body, which deals with your emotions and stuff. So that is basically your mind. Vijnanamaya kosha, that is the wisdom body. So Vijnanamaya kosha basically consists of your intellectual energy, or the intellect. And Anandamaya kosha is the subconsciousness or the consciousness which you attain after doing yoga. For some people, it may be merging with God, or just being in the state of peace or bliss, or being in the state of happiness. So these were the 5 major koshas. And even in modern times, they refer to this as the aura around the human being. In Bhagavad Gita, in all the 18 chapters, you will find knowledge about yoga. But the second chapter, the Lord Krishna, in verse 48 and verse 50, he gives you a clear definition of what is yoga. He says in verse 48 at the end, Samatvam yogaha yuchyate. He means evenness is verily yoga. What does this mean? It means that even in state of sadness or in the state of happiness, one has to remain in a balanced state. So that is yoga. And then in verse 50 at the end, he says, Yogaha karmashu kaushalam. This means yoga is skill in action. So here he says everybody has a skill or a duty to perform. So he said we have to perform the duty or put that skill into action, but we should not worry about the results. So you should not worry about the success or failures of it. So one has to just do one's duty and forget about the results, and it will take its own course. So basically in yoga, in Bhagavad Gita, yoga is abhyasa and vairagya. That is practice. Abhyasa is practice, never giving up, creating new mental habits. Vairagya means letting go, always not worried about the results, and let go of the old mental habits. So then Lord Sage Patanjali, he was a great Rishi who lived in 400 BC. He has also given us a very good scripture known as Patanjali Sutras. So he compiled the essential features and principles of yoga and gave us the Patanjali Sutras. You have 196 sutras. Usually they are like one line or two lines at the most. And he has also written, Patanjali is famous for the literary works on yoga, on medicine, that is Ayurveda, and Sanskrit grammar too. And Patanjali in his sutras basically talks about Raja Yoga, one type of yoga. So according to Patanjali Sutra 2, what does yoga mean? Yogas chitta vritti nirodha, meaning by so controlling the mind, we reach our original state. That means he is talking as though yoga is mind control. So his basic philosophy is yoga is got to do everything with your body as well as with your mind. Then Raja Yoga. So Raja Yoga was given to us by Patanjali. Raja Yoga is the king of all yogas. It is the path of willpower. It has 8 steps, and it is also known as Ashtanga Yoga. And Raja Yoga is divided into Bahiranga Yoga and Antaranga Yoga. So the Bahiranga Yoga consists of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahara. So he says, Patanjali says, before doing Yogasana, one has to follow certain do's and don'ts. So what are the do's and don'ts? So he says, one has to do ahimsa, non-violence, satya, not telling lies, asteya, not having jealousiness, brahmacharya, celibacy. And he is not referring this to the married couple. He's just saying that one should have control over their sexual urges, and it should not be the other way around. And aparigraha is a non-possessiveness. So these are all the basically these are nothing but a person should have as ethics. The ethics in a person is, he's saying these are basically the ethics one has to follow. And then niyama is what do's, what one has to do. That is shaucha, that is happiness. Saucha is cleanliness or purity. Santosha is contentment or happiness. Tapas is austerity. Swadhyaya is self-study. Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering to the universal self. So here, these actually are the habits one should follow. If you look at it, these yamas become the ethics one should have, and niyama should be the self-discipline or the habits one should follow. So I know it's very hard to follow all of them. We can at least take up one yama and one niyama and try to follow it. Then others slowly one can incorporate. So at least from now on, incorporate one yama and niyama in your life. Whichever is speaking to you, take that. And then comes asana. Then that is the yoga poses that we do. Pranayama, that is the breathing techniques. Pratyahara, that is the withdrawal of the senses, sense organs. So these are all bahiranga. These are all outwardly stuff. Then he says antaranga yoga, that is dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So he's talking basically about meditation. Dharana is concentration. Dhyana is extended concentration. Samadhi is meditation. So these are the 8 limbs of Raja Yoga. So from next session onwards, I'll just give this slide so that you remember that we are following the Ashtanga Yoga or the 8 steps. And so today we will do some asana and pranayama. And what are the benefits of yoga? So so why we should do all this yoga? So the feasibility is for doing yoga is also very important. And this is very simple exercise which can be done from kids to older adults by using modifications or props in the practice. And it doesn't need a gym membership. You don't need any costly equipment. It only requires a space where you can spread your mat. And it can be done in indoors, outdoors, while on vacation, while traveling for job. So you can do it anywhere once you learn yoga. And what are the benefits? Swami Vivekananda was the greatest yogi of our times, and he said that yoga helps in all-round development of the human being. So on the physical level, it gives us a strong, healthy body, makes it flexible, strengthens your muscles, and makes all the organ and organ systems to perform at the optimal level. At the mental level, creativity and willpower is enhanced. At the emotional level, it enhances your happiness in life and teaches you how to be equipoise. That is, even in times of distress as well as in times of happiness, it will teach you to be balanced and have a calm emotional mind. At the intellectual level, it helps you to develop a sharp intellect. So concentration and precision is achieved. That's why yoga is very good for kids. It helps them to develop a very good intellect because that's what it's needed for them to succeed in their education. Concentration and precision comes as a byproduct of it. Then the spiritual level. So it helps you to make you look inwards, and that marks the beginning of a spiritual quest. So I hope I gave you a good background about the philosophy of yoga. So this was all devised thousands of years ago by our ancient ancestors. So now since today we'll be practicing pranayama techniques, we also need to know the functioning of our respiratory system. So I will have Dr. Nagesha Kashinath explain about breathing from the medical standpoint of view. And then I will come back and we'll do some chest opening asanas and we'll practice some pranayama. I will just unshare it. No, stop share.
We can see your screen, Kashinath ಅವರೇ. ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? I am not able to hear. Is anybody able to hear me?
Yes, Pavi.
Yeah, we hear
Hello.
you.
Yes.
Okay, so I think ನೀವು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರಿ. ಕಾಶಿನಾಥ್ ಅವರೇ, ನೀವು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಾ, ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಆಚೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕೇನೋ.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yes.
Can you? Can all hear? Can you check?
Yes, Nagesh, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Nagesh ಅವರೇ.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nagesh Kashinath. I'm an anesthesiologist, and I've been. Can you hear? I'm an anesthesiologist by profession, and I trained and worked last 25 years in many places before settling down currently at Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Richmond, Virginia. Now, many of you might be wondering why anesthesiologist has to talk about breathing. His job is only to put people to sleep and wake them up, correct? Well, at least I need to know about the brain to put them to sleep, and I need to know about their lungs before I put them to sleep so that I can breathe for them, correct? Well, it's beyond that. As anesthesiologists, we take care of patients coming to the operating room for surgery. We also specialize in taking care of sick patients in intensive care units, where use of breathing therapy, just like physiotherapy, is very critical in their recovery. Some of us also specialize in taking care of patients who experience chronic pain issues like back pain or nerve-related pain or complex regional pain syndromes. A holistic approach involving yoga, pranayama, and meditation can help these conditions heal, reducing the need for medications significantly. There's a lot of research going on, particularly use of ancient techniques of yoga and pranayama in modern medicine in recovery of these patients after surgery as well as after any acute illness. Now, with this background, I'll quote a study in the Journal of Anesthesia, which was released somewhere around August of last year in the middle of COVID pandemic in the Journal of Anesthesia. The study was titled Analogy Between Classical Yoga, Zen Breathing and Modern Clinical Respiratory Therapy. So what they summarize is increasing evidence suggests that yoga, Zen breathing, and related meditation techniques are effective in modern clinical practice, especially in the field of anesthesiology, such as for improving respiratory function and reducing the chronic pain. That was an important conclusion out of this study. Now, with that background, let us explore how breathing influences health. What is the breathing system made up of? Breathing system made up of nasal passages, pharynx or the throat, larynx or the voice box, trachea or the windpipe, and two big lungs in the chest cavity. And also in the bottom, and it's made of diaphragm, which is one of the important muscles of breathing, and it also separates the chest from the abdominal cavity or the belly. Now these structures on the top, nasal cavity or the pharynx or the larynx, and including trachea, what do? They conduct air. In addition, they filter the air of the dust, and they add humidity. As the air goes in, it adds humidity to make the air exchange efficient. They also trap viruses and bacteria, and they work as a big defense shield here before the clean air gets into the lungs. So it defends the body against any incoming threats. Now, last but not least, the breathing system also consists of complex group of breathing muscles. Now in this slide, ignore most of the terms. Most importantly, remember the diaphragm and the rib muscles, the external intercostalis or internal intercostalis. Now, I'm going to say this again and again. The diaphragm contributes to about 2/3 of normal breathing. That's a lot. I put up this X-ray of the chest to help you understand all this black stuff is air in the lung. This is the trachea here. And trachea divides into tracheal tree with many millions of small branches. This is, of course, the heart. And what I wanted to show in this is most importantly the bottom diaphragm muscle, which is the concave structure separating the chest cavity from the belly. This is the most important muscle in the breathing system. And I want you to remember that part. Now, with that, let us look at these two questions. What is breathing and what is respiration? In simple words, breathing is the delivery of fresh air from your surrounding into the lungs and expelling that air after the respiration happens out into the atmosphere again. Now, respiration is a process. It's an entirely different process of transfer of oxygen through the lungs into the blood and transfer of carbon dioxide, which is a major metabolic waste, from blood into the air in the lungs to be expelled out. This we call as external respiration. So whatever respiration happens in the lungs is the external respiration. Within the body, there is a respiration happening between the blood and the cells, which millions of cells in the body. And that respiration is called internal respiration. And I'm not going to talk more about it. So what I want you to get from the slide is when we breathe in, like inspiration, we take fresh air into the lungs to deliver more oxygen to the body. And when we breathe out, we wash out carbon dioxide. Why do we have to breathe? Lungs are connected directly to the atmosphere, right? Can oxygen just go in and carbon dioxide can just come out of the lungs? Well, it's a very complex question for today's topic. Let us look at how breathing or ventilation happens. How does air gets into the lung from the surrounding? Imagine lungs as a pair of balloons, right? There are two ways in which you can fill air into the balloons. Normally, you blow the air into the balloon when you are preparing for a party, correct? And that is positive pressure breathing, or positive, I mean, you are using your positive pressure in your mouth to push the air into the balloon, right? We don't breathe that way. Nobody is breathing for us like that, except when you're on a breathing machine. Only frogs, interestingly, they can breathe like that. They, in fact, 50% of the time they breathe like that. They swallow some air into their mouth and push that air into the lungs. So you see them doing, if you closely observe them, it is not efficient, but their skin compensates by breathing rest of the oxygen. Now you try to breathe that way, sooner than you think, your stomach will be getting bigger and you'll be burping crazily by swallowing air into your stomach and also feeling out of breath. You might have seen in videos or movies when the body, somebody collapses, some bystander or a hero giving mouth-to-mouth breathing under positive pressure. That is positive pressure breathing. Or in a clip where one is on a breathing machine and with a tube going into their windpipe through the mouth, and that is positive pressure. But that is not how you breathe normally. Now I'm going to show you a simple lung model. Can you all see this? So this bottle, imagine this as the trachea and the nose and all. This bottle as the chest cavity, okay? There is a balloon, okay? Imagine that as the lung. And here is the diaphragm in the bottom of the lung. So look what happens. How do I breathe this? I am not blowing the air through the trachea. See how it is expanding? What is happening here? Look what I'm doing.
Nagesh, we can't see the
Right? So that is what diaphragm is doing.
You have to
And the
Nagesh,
respiratory muscles or breathing muscles are doing.
yeah,
So
ivaga
this
we can.
chest, the bottle, along with its breathing muscles, and most importantly, the diaphragm, when they work in harmony, they create a negative pressure inside the bottle or the chest. When the negative pressure is created there, atmospheric air flows nicely into the lungs.
This video is off. Share the screen.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I could see this.
Oh, stop share.
We are on the breathing or ventilation slide. Probably you have to share the video or whatever the screen you have to share.
ನಿಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ. ನೀವು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. ಹಾ, ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇವಾಗ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
Are you not seeing it?
No, we can see.
So who said that? Who said that? Oh, okay. So I'm going to explain this. I think many of you did not see it probably. imagine this bottle as the chest cavity. And this is the trachea or the nose or whatever. And you see the balloon is the lungs inside the bottle. And so so imagine this bottle as the chest or the chest cage with the breathing muscles attached to it. And imagine this as the diaphragm. So look what happens, how normal breathing happens. I am not breathing, I'm not blowing the air through this, but still the lung is getting expanded and contracted. So what is happening is this, the diaphragm working in harmony with the chest wall muscles, like the rib muscles, they create a negative pressure inside the chest cavity. How amazing it is. They create this negative pressure inside the chest cavity, which draws the air from outside. And when somebody breathes out, the diaphragm comes back to original position and the chest wall relaxes, which creates a positive pressure inside the chest, which expels the air out into the atmosphere. This is an amazing system built into our body. Pardon me for a second. So now, so in our body, chest is like the bottle with the muscles, and this bottom portion diaphragm, they work in harmony to create a negative pressure in order to suck the air into the lungs. Now, during inspiration, the diaphragm contracts, moves. Now, so during inspiration, this is how it is. During inspiration, the diaphragm, which is a concave structure, it contracts and becomes more flat. That becomes more flat means it moves down. And at the same time, the rib cage expands. So the volume inside the chest cavity increases, creating a negative pressure which draws the air. And during exhalation, the opposite happens. The diaphragm goes back and the chest rib cage contracts. So that creates a positive pressure pushing the air out of the lungs. Now let us look at how respiration happens. Lungs are made up of billions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. They look like grape bunches on a grapevine. If you open them and arrange these, ignore the right part of the slide, look at this part. If you open these tiny air sacs or the alveoli and arrange them side by side, they make up an area equal to the size of a tennis court. How amazing it is. So this can be the alveoli surface area is equal to the size of a tennis court. These alveoli are also surrounded by blood vessels, rich supply of blood vessels, which makes the air exchange very efficient. So as you breathe in, the air gets delivered, fresh air gets delivered into the alveoli or the air sacs, where the oxygen goes into the blood and the carbon dioxide gets out of blood, which is a metabolic waste, which goes out of the body when you exhale. Technically, your respiration can happen over an area equal to the size of tennis court. How amazing it is. But normally, this respiration is not happening uniformly all over the lungs. In fact, unless some effort is put by an individual, many areas of the lung just sleep without participating in respiratory process at all. So only part of the lung is taking part in the respiration process normally. So let us look at how breathing is controlled. Breathing control is unique in that you have an automatic control where you don't have to pay any attention to it, and there is a voluntary control where focus is needed. And of course, the seat of control for both is the brain. Top part of the brain is also known as cerebral cortex, is mainly associated with voluntary control of breathing. It is also believed to be the seat of mind, and where the body and mind connection is believed to happen. In contrast, the automatic control of breathing happens at the spinal level or the base of the brain. The signals doesn't get to the top of the brain at all. Now, no awareness is needed. Sometimes you say, now driving at spinal level, or he's working at a spinal level. What does it mean? If you're driving home the same route, or if you're driving same route every day to work, every day to work, I mean, most of the year, you don't even think while you're driving. In fact, you don't even remember what you saw while you're driving unless something unusual happens, right? So that is what you call a spinal level work. So it is quite amazing how this automatic control of breathing happens. Our body has deployed chemical sensors like oxygen sensors, carbon dioxide sensors, acid level sensors. They're collectively called chemoreceptors. They're all over the body. And these sensors, just like smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors in your home, they keep monitoring the body very closely. You can call this as an artificial intelligence unit, or in engineering terms, you can call servo controller. They keep monitoring the levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and they increase or decrease the breathing depending on the need by sending signals to the brain stem, their motherboard. But the signals never get past the brain stem into the cerebral cortex, or the top part of the brain. With this background, let us look at voluntary breathing, important aspect of today's session. Pranayama is also a voluntary breathing. As the name suggests, it will need one's awareness or focus. That means it will require the body connecting with the mind. Now, pranayama is central to the practice of yoga. It is practiced independently, and as one advances in their practice, it is merged into the asanas as well. Now, yoga scriptures mention so many benefits of pranayama. Let's look at from a medical standpoint, what does some of the deep breathing exercises does. Now, most of us, as I said, the area of the lung where the respiration happens is equal to roughly about a tennis court. Most of us daily breathe, now, or most of our life, we breathe with no awareness or attention to breathing at all at a spinal level. In fact, we'll be playing, or we will be using only a third to a half of the tennis court. In other words, you can say most of us are not fit from lung standpoint of view. When the body is stressed, the lungs will not be able to meet the challenge. It is not optimal breathing. It is less efficient. And in the long run, it leads to fatigue or loss of fitness. Now with pranayama or the deep breathing exercises, you can recruit all of the tennis court. You can use all of the tennis court. That means how much oxygen can flow in, how much carbon dioxide can flow out, increasing your fitness level, increasing your vitality. So that's the one of the important physical benefits of pranayama or deep breathing exercises. You can recruit the whole lung and you can make your lung more fit to meet the challenges during the stressful times for the body. Now you have to remember, we all age, and as we age, the diaphragm, which is the main muscle, starts losing its strength, and it starts as early as age 30. And adding a punch makes it faster, and it becomes less efficient. The diaphragm cannot go down efficiently to bring more air into the lungs. Also, the brain impulses controlling the cough reflexes also starts decreasing. So when lungs are not fit, you're likely to develop lung complications like pneumonia or lung failure, and likely, if you are sick, you'll likely end up on what you know as a mechanical ventilator or a breathing machine and even die. We see this frequently in our clinical practice, particularly with if you have damaged your lungs with smoking and other things. So how can you make lungs fit and work to make you better heal during the times of stress? In healthcare, we use a tool called incentives barometer. I call this as a medical pranayama tool. And this is only applied during, now you can't, of course, tell pranayama to the patients, but the basic principle is same, to increase the fitness of the lung. Now, so that they can deliver more oxygen to the tissue to heal better and prevent complications. And I'm going to show you this in a small video of how this is used.
Doing
Sorry.
Doing breathing exercises builds lung strength and is important to your recovery. An incentive spirometer is a handheld device that helps you take slow, deep breaths. To exercise your lungs, hold the incentive spirometer.
What is that? What's wrong?
Doing breathing exercises builds lung strength and is important to your recovery. An incentive spirometer is a handheld device that helps you take slow, deep breaths. To exercise your lungs, hold the incentive spirometer upright. Place the mouthpiece in your mouth, sealing your lips tightly around it. Breathe in slowly and as deeply as possible. A small column measures your efforts as good, better, or best. Hold your breath as long as possible, then breathe out slowly and allow the piston to fall to the bottom of the column. Rest for a few seconds, breathing naturally. Repeat the process. After each set of 10 deep breaths, cough to help your lungs stay clear. Support your incision when you cough by hugging a pillow.
So this happens mostly in patients who have never now done any breathing exercises in their life. Imagine if you are practicing pranayama or deep breathing exercises, how quick the recovery can be. Now, but the benefits of pranayama or deep breathing are much more beyond just the physical benefits. Now, pranayama brings awareness to the breathing and establishes the body and mind connection. That means if you Google the term body and mind connection, you will find so many references. I'm not going to go in detail into that, which has tremendous benefits on the human body. Lungs also have a different kind of sensors called neurostretch receptors. And deep breathing usually activates them over a period of time. When that happens, the nervous system switches from excitatory sympathetic nervous system dominance to a calmer parasympathetic state. Remember these words. It switches from excitatory sympathetic system to a calmer parasympathetic state. So when that happens over a period of time, the practicing person develops calmer mind. And always remember, calmer mind is the key to preventing so many illnesses. It has been shown that in people who practice pranayama regularly, the stress hormones like cortisol goes down significantly. Over a period of time, the oxygen consumption and the metabolism also becomes more controlled. So scientific studies have shown pranayama can help achieve very good blood pressure control, diabetes control. It can reduce anxiety and psychosomatic illnesses. It can treat chronic pain syndromes. It can boost your immunity. It can increase self-awareness, health, and spiritual growth. Now, our ancient yogis have realized the benefits of that pranayama, body and mind connection, way before any medical sciences have started exploring the field. So I can conclude by saying that modern medicine is only beginning to understand the significance of this ancient practice. Thank you, and I will have Kusuma take over the workshop now. She's going to dive further into pranayama and its benefits. Thank you. Gosh, yeah. Stop.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody put on their
Video as and mute, because Pavi wants to take a screenshot of everybody attending.
Thank you, Kusuma. ಎಲ್ರು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ? 1 ನಿಮಿಷ.
Yeah, can you on your video? Nagesha, can you on your video?
ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ.
Yeah, let me. Yeah.
Suraj, are you taking a screenshot?
No, Pavi, I can't take a screenshot because I'm on my phone. Let me try. Actually. One second.
ಆದ್ರೆ ನೋಡು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು
Okay, everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. Oh, wait.
ಪುಷ್ಪ, ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ.
Yeah, because I'm off the mask.
I have the mask.
That's okay.
No, that's fine. Stay where you are. I'll lay.
ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
I think you come here. It's okay, come. He wants you to take. I think he already took. ನೀ ಬರೋ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ನಾನು.
Okay, okay.
ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸೂರಜ್? I think we should continue the session. Okay.
Awesome. Done.
Okay. Yeah, please continue, Kusuma. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for cooperating.
Thank
So
you,
now,
Kusuma. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, now I'm going to show you. Why? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kusuma. We can hear you. Ellaru mute ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ.
Yeah, all of you can mute yourself. And
can.
now I'm going to show you some. Like, can everybody see my mat? Yeah, I think now we can see my mat. Yeah. So now let's do some asanas to strengthen our intercostal chest muscles and our as Dr. Nagesha Kashinath said, how much the diaphragm and your muscles around your lungs, how much it is important for them to be exercised regularly. So for that, we have some yoga poses. So let's do some warm up before doing a yoga pose. Always you should remember that you have to do warm-ups before doing a yoga pose. So if you are interested, you can follow my instructions and do the practical session with me, or if you want to just observe, you can observe. So first, let's start the session with 3 ohms. Om. 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So now let's keep our feet firmly grounded to the floor and our head, neck, spine and hips and our feet all aligned together. And have our spine erect and tall and elongated, and hands to our side. This is known as Tadasana or the mountain pose. So all the standing asanas will start from this. So before that, we'll do some warm-ups. So take your chin to the throat, move it to the right, then to the center, move it towards the left, and then come back to the center. Take your right ear to the right shoulder and you'll feel a stretch towards your left side of the neck. Come to the center and then bend your neck towards the left side such that your left ear is over the left shoulder. Feel the stretch along the right side. And then turn your neck towards the right shoulder. Come to the center. Then turn your neck towards the left side and come to the center. Then we'll do some ankle rotations. So all the joints and glands needs to be exercised. So lift your leg up and rotate your ankle one side, and then rotate your ankle like free your feet the other direction. Then go to the left leg, rotate your feet at the ankle in one direction, and then repeat it in the other direction. Then raise up your hands and then keep it on your thighs, and then rotate your knees in one direction, then rotate your knees in the other direction. Then keep your hands on your waist and rotate your hips towards one direction. Bring your torso to front and to the back, and then repeat it in the other direction. So this helps in order to work out your hip joints. And then lift your hands up and lift your hands down. Do it a couple of times. So you're stretching your entire body. Keep the whole body tight. Inhale and exhale. And then rotate your wrists in one direction, rotate it in the other direction. And then raise your hands up and place your palms on both the shoulders and rotate it in one direction, then rotate it in the other direction. Then keep your feet apart with little distance and bend your right hand and bend your torso towards the left side. So this is the lateral bend. So these are all your warm-ups. Then you can bring your right hand to the left toe, then left hand to the right toe. So these are also the warm-ups. If you can't touch your toe, that's fine. Wherever you can touch your hand, that's enough. So as in any other sports or anything, we need to do a few warm-ups like this. So here we basically warmed up our joints so that you don't injure yourself when you're doing the yogasana. Now, let's come back to the mountain pose again with our 2 feet firmly planted to the ground with our head, neck, hips, feet all aligned together in a straight line and standing tall with the spine elongated and erect and hands on side of your body. So this is the Tadasana or the mountain pose. Now, let's take both our hand. I'm going to turn back afterwards. I'm just going to show you how you should hold. So hold, take your hands back and bring your palms together and clasp the fingers together. So now, basically, your whole chest area is opened up. So this helps you to take in more air. So now take a deep breath and inhale. And while exhaling, just bend down, how much ever you can bend. And then inhale and come back, exhale and bring your hands to the sides. This is the Yoga Namaskara. You can do this in the standing position or you can do it even sitting in Vajrasana and doing the Yoga Namaskara. So since we were standing, I showed you in the standing position. So take your arms, hands back, clasp your fingers together, and then take a good inhale, because now you have the place for your rib cage to expand. Inhale, and while exhaling, go down. And then again, inhale and come up and exhale to your side. Now, again, I'll show you where you need to keep your hands. So support your sacrum or your lower back. Sacrum area is the area above your hips. That's the lower back. So keep all your fingers, that is your right palm and the left palm, with all the fingers, and support the lower back. So now again, your chest is, and bring the shoulder blades together in the back. So now again, you have expanded your chest. You can keep your feet at hip width distance, a little apart, not too much, just a little. And then again, you have space so that your rib cage can expand. So now again, breathe in. While breathe in and go back, and then breathe out. Then take a couple of deep breaths here. Then breathe in, and then bring your hands back to the side. So this is half wheel pose or Ardha Chakrasana. Then go up on your knees. I can now little adjust the camera. So go up on your you can just lower and upper this thing, yeah. So stand up on your knees. People, if you have any issues with your knees, you can always keep a blanket and you can keep the knees on it, or you can keep a pillow under your knees and you can stand on it. And now, instead of doing the full pose, we will do the half pose, because today I'm teaching just the basic asanas which anybody can do, even if they have not done the yoga and this is the first time. If they follow what all the instruction, safety instruction I have given with supporting your back and stuff and all that, so it will be very safe and it won't harm you. So now, instead of doing the full camel pose, we will do half camel. So that if you have back issues and stuff, for the full camel, you need to first practice half camel and then try the full camel. So for a beginner, half camel is the appropriate pose. So again, keep both your palms in the sacrum region and give support to your back. So you have opened up your, and bring the shoulder blades together. You have opened up your chest, and you can take good amount of air inside your lungs. So now again, inhale and just go back and look up to the ceiling. Please don't strain your neck. You don't have to throw your neck all the way back. Just lift up and see, look at the ceiling and support your lower back with both your palms. And this is your half camel. So take a couple of breaths here. Now again, inhale and come back and drop your hands to the side. Now, if you have already done yoga and if you are in the intermediate level or the higher level and you want to do the full camel, that also can be done. So again, knees apart with distance between them. Then inhale and turn to your right side and keep your right palm to your right heel. And then inhale, and while exhaling, keep your left palm to your left heel and push yourself forward and breathe. This is the final pose, the camel, Ushtrasana. Then inhale and come up, come down, exhale, then inhale, come down. Now you start taking your hips back towards your heels. So try to bring your big toes together. Still keep a distance between your knees and try to sit on your heels. I don't know, I know for some people this is not going to be feasible. So you can always keep a pillow or a hard bolster like this, or you can fold another yoga mat and you can keep it on your heels and you can sit. Then slowly, as your knees and all your joints and muscles get exercised, in few months time you will be able to sit on your heels. So this is Vajrasana. And now we'll go to the child pose. So this is a very good pose, as it is a resting pose as well as a rejuvenating pose. So for that too, for the beginner, you can keep a bolster. This is a bolster. It's hard. If you lie on it, it doesn't go inside like a soft pillow. So you can slowly come forward, lay your torso on the bolster, extend your arms, and you can turn your cheek to one side. So this is child pose or the balasana. So if you're already practicing yoga, you can take out the bolster and you can bring your forehead to the mat with your legs, with your hands extended. This is the child pose or the balasana. Then slowly come up and then lay on your tummy. Before laying down on the tummy, those who are pregnant and recently had surgeries for your abdomen, please don't do this pose. This is called prone position. So people who are pregnant and who have had recent surgeries of the abdomen should not do the prone position poses. Others can do it. So now lift your chest up and keep your forearms, keep your arms folded at the elbow. Make your forearms lie on the mat and your chest is off the mat. You are basically supporting yourself with the help of your abdomen and the pelvis and your legs. So this is called as Sphinx pose. This is a very good pose for breathing exercise. So here you can take a couple of breaths here. This is called as Purusha Mrigasana. That is body of a man and it is half body of a man and half body of a animal. Purusha Mriga Asana, the Sphinx. Then you can move your palms. You can make your chin come to the mat. Lay on the mat completely on your prone position. That is, lay on your tummy and your chest. And bring your palms to the last rib of your rib cage. It need not be exact, but try to visualize and keep it at the last rib cage. And then lift up your chest off the mat and look straight or look up. So this is the baby cobra or the Bhujangasana. This is also a very good exercise for the chest muscles. Then slowly come down. Then you have to do the resting asana. That is, keep your, I think you're not able to see with the post. Keep your both legs such that the both feet are away from each other. And then fold your arms at the forearms, and you can keep your forehead in between on the arm. So you'll notice that the chest is off the mat. You're lying on your stomach. You can also, if you want, you can keep the position of your hands, like you can cup yourself and sit. Usually people here say beach pose. So if the hands are here, it's baby cobra. And once you come down and rest your forehead on the middle of your forearms folded, this is Makarasana. Makarasana is a very important pose because this teaches you abdominal breathing or the diaphragmatic breathing. So keep your forehead on your middle of your forearms and take deep breaths. And then slowly turn to your back. So Makarasana, what we did the last pose, it's a very good asana to practice diaphragmatic breathing or the abdominal breathing. And now we'll come to the last asana, that is the bridge pose. So fold your legs at the knee and keep a little distance between your knees and try to bring this feet as close as possible to your hips so that with both your arm fingers you should be able to catch the ankle. I know in the beginning it's hard, so try to bring it as close as possible. Even if you don't touch your ankles, that is fine. So wherever it can hands lay, you just put it on the mat. So then slowly lift from your lower back. Take the lower back off the mat. So for some people, this is as much as they can go. That is fine. For others who are in intermediate level, they can raise up from the lower back and lift each vertebrae at a time of your spine and point your stomach towards the ceiling, and then you will see that your chin will come very close to the chest. If you can also support and you can rise up more. This is your final pose, that is the bridge. So it looks like a bridge. Then slowly, so in this position you can take couple of breaths. So here also your chest is expanded, so that your rib cage is expanded. Take a few breaths here, then slowly come down and come to the mat. So for a beginner, they might not be able to lift too much, but that is fine. How much ever you can lift. Just from the lower back, start from your lower back. Just lift it off the mat. And if you're feeling that is too much too, you can take a block and place it under your sacrum. That is the area above the hips. That is your lower back. So you can place a block there, and your lower back can lie on it. And so only thing is you should be little off the mat, and your stomach should be pointing upwards. So they also coordinate breath here. So they will do inhale, lift up, exhale, bring it down. So this is called bridge breathing. Inhale, lift up, exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift up, exhale, bring it down. Slowly bring your legs down, and you need to end with Shavasana. Today, since we are little crunch on time, I'll just give like maybe a 1 minute Shavasana. So people who have done with me, so at least they will get break. Usually Shavasana needs to be done between at least 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Maximum 10 minutes, minimum at least 3 to 5 minutes. But today we'll just take a minute. So close your eyes, lay in comfortable position. So all your joints, glands, your organs, your muscles, everything has been worked out, and now it is relaxing. So try to relax the whole body from your toes to your head. And take deep breaths. Then turn to one side and lay, and then slowly get up. So we did some chest opening asanas. So before doing pranayam, it is better if you strengthen your chest muscles so that you will be able to open up your rib cage so you can take maximum amount of air. So now I'm going to share little information about pranayam, and then I'll teach you a few techniques. I know today we are little going off the time, but because I took some time to explain the yoga philosophy, I apologize. So from next time, we won't have that chapter. So we will directly dive into the system and then do the asana and the pranayam.
That's okay, Kusma ಅವರೇ. ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಇನ್ನು?
ಇದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 10 to 15 minutes ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Absolutely. I think it should be fine for everybody. Yeah.
So I'll go to the pranayama slide. think we had finished this. So in pranayama, first again we will try to find what is the goal of the pranayama, the definition according to Patanjali, and what according to yogic point of view, what is the anatomy according to yoga, how they describe the body, and objectives of pranayama, benefits, and few pranayama techniques. So yoga is actually living in the present. So each breath can become a start to a new life. Breath is directly connected to one's thoughts and emotions. So that's why if you control your breath, you will be able to control your emotions as well as your thoughts. So the breath will help you in coordination between the body and the mind. So don't hold on to the past or worry about the future. Live in the present, because the breath that you take is now. So that's why concentrate on that breath and forget about the past and the future. So always be in the present. And normally people take 15 to 18 breaths per minute, like one inhalation and exhalation. Like 15 inhalation, exhalation happens in a minute. But some people, this won't be the normal breath. They will have more than 20 or so. So pranayama, we are trying to make it to come to the normal breath. And people who are already breathing normally, we want to voluntarily use the dimensions and reduce that breathing rate to 10 or below 10 breaths per minute. And we want to balance the breath between two nostrils, the right and the left. We want equal amount of air going between the two. So according to the meaning of, if you split the word pranayama, prana means breath, ayama means control. And Patanjali Sutra 49 tells you, Tasmin sati shwasa prashvashayor gatir vichedaha pranayamaha. To cut the speed of inhalation and exhalation is pranayama. And so according to the yogic anatomy on respiration, the respiratory system is the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, between the voluntary and the involuntary activities, or in general, between the body and the mind. The fourth limb of the yoga is the pranayama. Inhalation is called puraka, exhalation is called rechaka. And usually the ratio is exhalation is longer than the inhalation. So usually in the ratio of 1:2. If you take 1 second to breathe in, take 2 seconds to breathe out. And sometimes after you do pranayama, certain pranayama practices, you don't feel the urge to breathe. That is called retention of breath, and it is called kumbhaka. Like if you do kapalabhati, then you will feel no urge to breathe once you have completed the pranayama, and that is called as kevala kumbhaka. And according to yogic anatomy, the human body is made up of nadis. And nadis are the channels in which the energy flows through. And the human body has around 72,000 nadis. In that, the three nadis, Ida, Pingala, and Shushumna, are the important ones. So the Pingala is nothing but which goes through the right side of the body, and Pingala through the left side or the left nostril. Pingala is to the right nostril, Ida is to the left nostril. And Pingala is associated with male, Shiva, Surya, warmth. And Ida, which is it is associated with feminine, left nostril, with Shakti, Chandra, coolness. And then the center nadi is the Shushumna nadi, which cuts along the chakras of the body. So here in pranayama, we want to attain Shushumna nadi. So we want to breathe equally between the right nostril and the left nostril. So then it becomes the Shushumna nadi, which originates at the base of the spine and ends in the center of the eyebrows. So here they say Shiva and Shakti meet. So our goal is to try to breathe through Sushumna Nadi. And the objective of pranayama is to bring into action all lobes of the lungs for full utilization for the breathing, and to normalize the breathing and to make the breathing uniform, continuous and rhythmic. And benefits are, you'll have a smooth rhythmic breathing with healthy lungs. You'll have strong intercostal muscles and the extracostal muscles too. The lung muscles will be very strong. It's good for seasonal allergies and asthma patient. It reduces stress. It controls blood pressure. It's good for the heart. It controls the thoughts and the emotions. So in turn, it is good for the mind, and it's a great tool for maintaining good mental health. So now let's learn how to do few pranayama practices. So before doing pranayama, usually they ask us in yoga, we do some cleansing techniques like neti. The neti is that neti pot in which you fill the saline water and pass it through your right nostril, and then the water comes out through your left nostril. So like usually even medical doctors nowadays prescribe people who have allergies to use the neti pot. So if anybody is interested, they can come to me. I have few neti pots, and I can teach you how to do that. So that clears your upper respiratory tract. Then we do Kapalabhati. That is the passive inhalation and forceful exhalation. So that is Kapalabhati. It's a cleansing technique. So we can try doing that. So you passively inhale and you should forcefully exhale. Few people should not do this Kapalabhati. People who are pregnant, who had surgery to their abdominal, because when you do Kapalabhati, it is just flapping of your stomach. If you go on YouTube and put Baba Ramdev Kapalabhati, he will show you how to do it. And this generates heat. So people with blood pressure and heart issues should not do Kapalabhati. For others, it is safe. You should learn the technique to do it. But before doing Kapalabhati, you need to strengthen your abdominal and your chest muscles. Then only you will be able to do Kapalabhati for a long time. Otherwise, if you have a weak abdomen and chest muscles, it's hard to do Kapalabhati. So maybe in the future sessions, I will teach you how to do the Kapalabhati, or I will do the Kapalabhati and you can try it with me. So today I will do the simple 1:2 ratio breathing first. That is, take 1 second to inhale, take 2 seconds to exhale. Inhale, exhale. So you can count yourself in the mind. 1 and then 1, 2. So 1 second to inhale, 1, 2 to exhale. So you can take wherever you're sitting now, from there itself you can do. Inhale, exhale. Make sure that exhalation is longer than the inhalation. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. And now I will teach you abdominal breathing. So you can lie down on your back and place your stomach, palms on either side of your navel on the stomach. And when you inhale, try to take maximum amount of air such that your stomach bulges. So inhale, exhale, then the stomach goes down. So if you place your hands on your stomach, even in sitting position, you can try, but you can make this out better in the sleeping position. So keep your hands on your stomach near the navel area, like one palm on one side of the navel, another side of the navel. Breathe in and bulge up your stomach, and exhale or breathe out, and then bring down your stomach. So inhale, exhale, bulge up, then exhale, bring it down. So this is a good practice to do to strengthen your diaphragm. So this is abdominal breathing or your diaphragmatic breathing. So you can keep your hands on your stomach and take full air so that you bulge your stomach like a balloon, and it should go up. And then while exhaling, bring down the stomach. So every day, if you practice this, this is very good for your abdominal muscles. And I showed you Makarasana, the crocodile pose. That is also good. When you lie down and come in crocodile pose and breathe, that is also same, diaphragmatic breathing. Now I'll teach you a simple yogic pranayam, another yogic pranayam. So hold your hands such that this is the chin mudra, where you're touching your thumb and your index finger, the finger next to it. So this will be your chin mudra. And then place it on your palms and sit tall. And now when you inhale, bulge up your stomach, and while exhaling, you will utter the word ah. So here we are going to split om into ah, oo, and . So ah sound comes for the stomach, oo sound comes for the thoracic region. That is the thoracic breathing, and sound comes for your throat or your clavicular breathing. That is the upper lobe of the lung. So let's first start with Adhama Pranayam. That is for your abdomen. So now breathe in and bulge up your stomach. While breathing out, utter ah till you expire all the air. So inhale, bulge up your stomach, then utter ah and exhale all the air. Inhale, bulge up your stomach, and while exhaling, say ah. Now you will use Chinmayi Mudra for the chest. That is, with the Chin Mudra, you are going to fold the other three fingers. That is your middle finger, ring finger, and pinky, and bring it to the center of your palm. So you're going to close. I hope you can see it. So your thumb and your index finger are touching, and other three fingers are folded to your inner palm. So now keep it, and now inhale and try to get the air to your chest. Expand your chest, and while exhaling, utter ooh. Inhale, expand your chest, while exhaling, utter ooh. Now for the clavicular, we will fold the thumb and bring it to the inner palm. And then the other fingers is going to wrap that thumb. So you're just making a fist, and that is the Adi Mudra. So here now you're going to do the clavicular breathing. So what you do, when you are breathing, you will take your shoulders behind. So when you inhale, take your shoulders behind you. And when you exhale, you utter and bring the shoulders forward. Roll your shoulders forward. So now inhale, roll your shoulders back, and while exhaling, utter the word Inhale, roll your shoulders back, and while exhaling, utter Now the same Adi Mudra, we are going to keep it on the near the navel area, where you are going to keep it like this, where you can see your fingers are to the fist is such that the fingers are, the folded fingers are pointing to the ceiling. This is Brahma Mudra. Now we are going to combine all the three sounds, A, U and So inhale, bulge up your stomach, take air in your lungs, and then roll your shoulders back, and then while exhaling, utter and relax your shoulders. So now take your shoulders back and exhale and bulge up your stomach and take air into your chest. And while exhaling, say Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, bulge up your stomach, take maximum air into your lungs. And while exhaling, utter Inhale, roll your shoulders back, bulge up your tummy, expand your chest. While exhaling, drop the shoulders down and utter So this is the full yogic breathing with the Brahma Mudra. So if you practice this for some time, then your abdominal, your thoracic, as well as your clavicular breathing, you will be able to exercise all the parts of your lungs. So then once you are into this yogic breathing, then you can learn further future advanced pranayams. So maybe for another month, you practice this 1:2 breathing and practice the abdominal breathing, lying down, practice the crocodile pose breathing, and then practice this A, U and separate, and then practice it together, the full yogic breathing. So then your chest and your abdominal muscles will be ready to receive the next. In the next session with Dr. Shashi Prabhakar, I'm going to teach you left nostril breathing, right nostril breathing, and Nadi Shodhana. That is the Anuloma Viloma. So you breathe through alternate nostril breathing. That is really good. The Nadi Shodhana is good for curing a lot of problems. So early in the morning, you can get up, do few yoga poses, practice full yogic breathing, practice alternate nostril breathing, and maybe for a 5 minutes, put on an app like Calm or Insight Timer or something where it gives you a guided meditation, and then you're set for the day. So anybody can attempt to do it. It doesn't have to be that you should be an advanced yogi to do all this. So anybody can do these practices because they are quite simple. So everybody can pick poses, pick pranayams, which are the beginner level pranayams and the poses, and practice. And as you practice, as it says in Gita, the more the practice, the more you're ready to receive new poses and new pranayam practices. But the only thing is, as we know in every field, practice makes man perfect. So yoga cannot be you cannot be just done by reading or seeing somebody doing. You have to personally practice and experience it. So this is a practical part which everybody has to do it themselves and know the benefits. Others can tell you that this will happen, that will happen, but it is individual. So you have to do it, practice it every day, and reap the benefits. So next week we will be next February we will be doing the second series, which is Surya Namaskar. So that will also have some yoga poses. Then we'll do pranayam, and Dr. Shashi Prabhakar will explain to you about cardiovascular health. So I will teach you asanas, that Surya Namaskar and pranayam techniques, which will help you to keep your heart healthy. So today we did about the respiratory system. Yeah, next week it's going to be only 1 hour, because I'm not going to go into the philosophy of yoga, types of yoga and all that. So Dr. Shashi Prabhakar will directly jump into the workings of the heart, and then I will teach you the Surya Namaskar and the pranayam, the Nadi Shodhana, the left nostril, right nostril breathing, and the alternate nostril breathing. And we will revise the breathing that we did today too. So I think this concludes today's session. And if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, you can just leave the meeting whenever you want. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the audience who sat so patiently and listened to me and Dr. Nagesha Kashinath. I hope we made some sense and gave you at least a very basic knowledge about yoga and the respiratory system.
Yeah, it was a great session, Kusuma Aure. Thank you so much for everything. Even the slides, I've been hearing from people that it was very, very informative and very useful. The experiment for the lungs that Nagesha showed, I mean, all of those things, it's all not easy for us to understand. So thank you so much. And pranayama, I hope everybody has gone through, taken down notes, and you're able to practice it. If not, I think Kusma, can they reach out to you if they have any questions?
Oh, sure. So yeah, that's why I said even now, whoever wants, you muted all. You muted me too. No, okay.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, so if anybody has any question, I'll stay back for another 15 to 20 minutes so they can ask me, or if they feel a little intimidated to ask in the public platform, they can always call me, and if I can answer, I'll answer their questions. If I know about it, definitely I'll answer it. And even if they have any questions for Dr. Nagesha Kashinath, they can always reach out to him, or if you have any doubts, you can ask him now itself.
Okay, let's open the forum for the public. I would want to ask, does anybody have any questions? Kusma ಅವ್ರನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ? Any specific questions? The method that was explained?
ಹಾಯ್ ಕುಸುಮ, ನಾನು ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ಅಂತ.
ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋನು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ so that everybody I can see who you are.
Okay, sure. Okay, so now you can see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Kusuma. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. It was very helpful, very informative. So ನೀವು next week ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? I thought it is just
not
1
next week ಅಲ್ಲ, next month. So every third Saturday of the month.
Okay, so every third Saturday of the month. So I'll make myself free on the every third Saturday. So I just wanted to know ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, so I'll make myself free.
Yeah. Next week we'll have that ಹೇಳದ್ನಲ್ಲ, we will have Surya Namaskar and cardiovascular system, and we'll have cardiologist Dr. Shashi Kumar, Shashi Prabhakar come. So any questions you have for me or for him, so you be more than welcome, and you can listen to it. And if you don't understand anything or you want more information,
Sure. Thank you so much. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇವತ್ತಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
Thank you ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ಅವರೇ. ಇನ್ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಕುಸ್ಮಾ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ? ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್.
Oh, I can hear somebody is unmuted, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think so. Anybody has any
questions? Okay.
So ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ I think people can reach out to you.
Yeah,
I
sure.
will make sure that the message is passed on through RKS as well. Facebook page allu ಹಾಕೋಣ. Thank you so much for today's session again. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರಿ. ನೀವು ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. So we will see.
Kusuma, thank you very much for, we have Hemant, Sonali, and
you are having
everybody's there. So it was, from my perspective, it was really, cool to understand about yoga, because I always imagine it to be just those exercises, but the way you explained it, it is, from my perspective, it gave me the wake up. And
bring your chair.
And Nagesh, that the diaphragm, my impression was it was always the lungs doing the job, but you explained it pretty well with that simple contraption that you made, that it is the diaphragm that needs to really get the job done for us. So hopefully we'll at least I will try to focus on the few things that I understood from you. Thank you so much for making it simple. Yeah, and really appreciate.
Yeah, actually, diaphragmatic breathing is very important. That's why I taught you how to do it in crocodile pose, as well as lying down on the mat and keeping your hands on your stomach and bulging your stomach up and down so that you can take air. So that exercises basically your diaphragm.
Right. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kusuma.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think we need to thank. Yeah, hi, and we need to thank you for the balloon.
You're welcome, man. Anytime.
Okay then. Okay then. Bye.
So let the meeting.
I think now I'll end.
We
can end the meeting. Yeah. So if they have any issues, they can always call me on my cell. So then I can answer to them. So we'll see you next month, the third Saturday of the month.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.